Only a handful of analysts were invited into this event today. And one of the analysts has covered Apple for quite a while. Mike Abramsky, you're with RBC, and you've been covering Apple for, what, 8 years?
Something like that.
So what did you see in there that you really felt was news? Obviously the new phone, but what about it is newsworthy?
Well, I think, newsworthy and investor-worthy, sometimes they're two different things. I think investors are disappointed today, but that's not really a surprise to us. The phone was considered to be incremental. That's what they delivered. But it is probably as continued as we believe to have a major upgrade cycle, because it does have enough in it, including new features of iOS 5, faster, better capabilities inside the phone, and new applications to keep momentum going for them.
This is one of those rare times because it's a company that's so focused on a singular consumer product, that the product itself tells a story. If they called it a 5, would that have led to more sales? Does calling this phone a 4S lead to fewer sales and have an impact on your top-line numbers?
I guess it's the chicken or the egg, but really Apple tends to reserve new numbers for, I would call it breakthrough releases, probably when they do 4G, truly 4G. That's when they'll call it the iPhone 5, as a signal of essentially a next generation.
But again, calling it a 4S, is that going to limit the amount of sales that a 5 would have done?
I don't think so. It hasn't in the past. The 3GS was a very successful upgrade to the 3, and I think that'll be the same in this case.
So your numbers stay the same whether it would have been a 5 or a 4S, your revenue numbers?
Our survey data before the phone launch, which showed a very strong uptake, was based on the feature set that principally was unveiled here today.
So is camera important in terms of how many they're going to sell?
I think
camera upgrade, I should say.
Cameras are important because phones are integrated devices, and the better they get cameras, the better they can cannibalize standalone cameras, and that just adds one more notch to Apple's market opportunity.
It seems to me there's at least a third or fourth, maybe fifth voice announcement about a new voice product from Apple that I've heard in my life. Do you believe this one's going to be great?
It looks really cool. They did have voice control in the past, which was, kind of a minor feature. This is a major differentiator. In fact, you probably remember something called the Knowledge Navigator. This was actually unveiled when Scully was running Apple in 1987. There's videos all over the internet. This is actually the realization of that vision.
We'll see if it's a realization or not. Let me ask you also about the CEO. I mean, the CEO. This is the first sort of post-Steve Jobs CEO announcement of an iPhone, of an iOS product. How did Tim carry himself in there?
I think Tim did a really good job. I think that, part of the probably subtle objective of the meeting was to show the smooth continuity as Tim takes the helm. I think he was in the Apple style, throwing out statistics to show Apple's leadership. He showcased the leading members of the management team. He showed their attention to quality and detail, and with things like Sirius, showed ongoing innovation. And I think that probably will reassure investors to some extent. But it does not eliminate the overhang of uncertainty. That'll probably dog the stock for a while and compress the multiple.
Really quickly, how many stocks do you cover?
15 or 16.
And this is your favorite? You think this is the best stock to buy of all the 15 stocks you cover?
Yeah, and I'm not alone in that regard, but yes.
All right. Mike, really appreciate it. Glad to get the insight of what went on in there.